Welcome everybody to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast, and in this video we're going to give you our review for the Continental Episode 1, now streaming on Peacock. We are a big fan of the John Wick universe. My goodness, what an action-packed first episode. We're going to give you full spoilers ahead, so stick with us. Dylan, without further ado, why don't you start us off?
It's really cool that we got to see this at San Diego Comic-Con and to see it on live action. It was so good. I think Albert Hughes did a wonderful job crafting this new era of the John Wick universe. It's still familiar, but it has a lot of new elements in it. And what I love about this show is it pays attention to the times. I love that Albert Hughes integrated so many great musical elements into this show. There's a lot of like blues, kind of like funk elements into it, and the characters are awesome. We do get to see, of course, this is Winston's show. I think Colin Woodall was pretty good. I mean, he's not Ian McShane,
right? He's interesting.
He doesn't have that cool bravado to him yet, but this is only the first episode, so maybe we'll see that over the course of the series. Him transforming into the Winston that we know. Also, the actor who played Karen was also cool as well. We didn't see him much, but yeah, it is interesting to see like younger versions of them. I wonder if we'll see more younger versions of some of the other characters. We saw Uncle Charlie. I wonder if maybe Bowery King would make an appearance in the show as well. Cool. Like maybe it's like the beginning of like the network, right? Maybe he's like actually like a homeless dude or something. I think that'd be really interesting to see him as like a homeless dude, and then he suddenly becomes like the Bowery King over the series. What do you think also of Mel Gibson in the show?
Yeah, I think I always liked Mel Gibson performances, and I thought he plays a convincing villain. And he has a lot to deal with as well. And it's just really interesting to see how he handles like everybody in the show in general. So I always liked Mel Gibson's performance, and I think he makes like a great villain. And I loved how he kept on calling Winston and called Winston a slut. They said, "How dare you?" and yelled at him. But no, I mean, I'm always a big fan of Mel Gibson in movies. So yeah, he was pretty good. And I do agree. I love seeing the younger versions. I wish we could see like William Dafoe's character. I feel underdressed right now. Next time though, baby. Next time. Okay, I just woke up. But yeah, so starting off too, I think one thing to note is that John Wick in general, the universe is all about the guns too. What did you think trying to match the 1970s aesthetic with also like maybe combat and weapons in the show?
Well, it's interesting because this takes place, I think like right after the Vietnam War, because I think Frankie, Winston's brother in this series, is actually like a Vietnam vet, and there were like he had like allies that were like arms dealers that were like ex Vietnam veterans too. So I think it's interesting coming right out of that time period, you know, because it was a time of war too. And it's kind of like, what do you do in like a time of peace, right? You have no choice but to like sell arms dealers to make a business, right? And it makes sense within the John Wick universe, right? Like there's all these assassins and stuff. And we see other villains as well, not just Cormac. We also see a new adjudicator lady. She only made like a brief appearance, but I wonder how involved the High Table is in this series, because it's still pretty new, but they said like the High Table's been around forever. Apparently, like they said like it even predates like the Roman Empire, which I think is really interesting. So there's a lot of history there. But yeah, as for the weapons, the gun and the violence were pretty epic. Of course, if you guys saw the teaser for John Wick, the stairway fight was in this episode, and it was so cool to see it again. I think they always do a great job with the choreography in this movie. It's so methodical. Like it doesn't feel like it's just like, oh, like one bad guy's waiting for their turn to get hit. It's like, no, it's like very stylized, right?
Yeah, and I appreciate that too. And it also gives way to more a spectacle, you know? And so I think it has a nice combination. And we did see that in our the Comic-Con preview. They really put a lot of thought into that, especially the time period. So I really do appreciate it. And I think Ben Robson did a great job. If that was truly... Oh, actually, they said that in the Comic-Con that was actually like him doing most of the stunts there. So that was really cool. So I think he did a great job. I think another question I have, because we mentioned this a little bit in the beginning of this review, but also really, how good is Colin Woodall as young Winston to you?
He's definitely different. Like I said, he's not Ian McShane, but of course that's like a high role to it's
High
those are
bar,
big shoes to
yeah.
fill, yeah.
Mhm.
So, but for sure he definitely has the feeling like he's going to make a bigger impact in this world. He already has like the kind of like status that you would expect from Winston. He's like a businessman. He has his own like entrepreneurship and stuff. But he doesn't have kind of like the grit yet, which is kind of like what his brother has. So his brother, I think, is kind of like a device to bring Winston into this darker underworld, right? Because his brother wanted him to like, go legit, and that's why he took the fall for this incident that happened when they were like kids or whatever. So they were originally working for Cormac, and then Cormac brought Winston back to find his brother Frankie. So I'm really interested to see how Winston inherits the Continental in this series. What he has to go through, because well, at the end of this episode, he felt really badass. Like he didn't seem like a fighter yet, but I love when he said at the end, like, "Oh, I need guns, lots of guns." It was such like a John Wick thing to say. So I can't wait to see his progression as a character and as the character that we see in the movies.
For sure, same. So what would you rate this episode?
I would rate this episode pretty high. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. I think everything pretty much worked. Like I said, I love the attention to details with the time period. I also love the expansion of the world building of the high table. I just love like everything from down to like even like the Continental has its own currency. Like I love when the detective lady, like she tried to buy a drink at the bar, but they didn't really take money. They only accept like the coin things. I thought that was really cool. Also, I wonder what the coin press thing is. Is it like, because I can't imagine that's the only coin press that they have. So maybe it's like more of like a status symbol. So I wonder why it's so important. But yeah, high marks for me. How would you rate it?
Yeah, honestly, I enjoyed it a lot. I think 9 out of 10 is pretty fair for my rating. Right now it's getting reviewed bombed, so unless we're complete schizos or we're missing something here, but I don't think the review bombing really warrants it, to be honest. I think it's an enjoyable watch, so guys, check it out, and we're also going to do week by week reviews for this, so wait till next time. Dylan, take us away, my friend.
Well, guys, you heard it here. If you guys are also fans of John Wick, we did a couple reviews this summer for John Wick 4 and also John Wick Revisited. So if you guys are fans of the franchise, check those out. Yeah, this is a limited series, but we will be covering every episode as it comes out. So I can't wait for you guys to see our thoughts and our reactions because we're big fans of John Wick as well. But guys, thank you so much. Check out our other videos. If you enjoyed this review, leave a like, comment, sub, anything helps the channel. But until then, guys, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you, Jonathan.